Hi, I'm going to try to mess around here and create an alien using Anim8or 3D modeling software. We're going to use a lot of point edit and use some techniques that we learned in the old eggplant exercise. But see how this goes and see if this works for you. I'm going to start with a sphere in this case, and I'm going to snap to grid just to make sure things sort of stay put near the middle. That'll make life a little simpler. And I'm going to use flat shaded mode too, because here's what I want to do. From the side view, I'm going to rotate this thing 90 degrees, and snap to grid makes that happen perfectly. Makes life easy. Now I'm going to go to point edit mode, and what I'm going to do with this guy, first of all, just to give him a little bit of color, I'm going to color his eyeball. I'm going to make this thing a gigantic eyeball with arms. And to do that, I'm going to open the materials editor, and I'm going to choose some colors here. Let's see, eye color. And that eye color I think is going to be green because it's kind of alien-like. Light green like that. Say OK. You know, it would be good if it was a little heavier in the specular as well. It makes a lot of sense to have white, even though it starts kind of gray. Eyeball white. And I'm going to definitely beef up the specular on that to 0.9. And I'm going to make pupil black. Maybe I'll call it eye black, just so it all matches. And let's make that nice and dark. Okay, so to give this thing some color, first off, back to object edit mode. I'm going to click the object, select tool first, click it, and I'll apply that nice white color. Done. And then in point edit mode, I'm going to use a drag select, and I'm going to color the front part of this thing. Maybe I'll do this in wireframe so we can really see this. Oh, you know what? You can't select it just yet. This thing cannot be colored in point edit until you've converted it to a mesh. And I can see in wireframe mode it's not a mesh. But if I select it like this and I go build, convert to mesh, in object edit mode, when I go back to wireframe, now I see the little points that go and make this thing up. So it is now a mesh, not a primitive. I'm going to go back to my flat shaded. I should be able to select the faces now, and I can. I'll apply that green color first and drag select just the inside there, and I will make that the pupil. So now we got something that looks a little bit more like an eyeball. And I'm going to keep on editing this thing in point edit mode. So here's what happens with this thing. I'm going to start extruding faces out of this, and I'm going to try to keep it as even as I can, but this can go any number of different ways just to make things interesting. So I'm going to choose just to use surfaces or faces, and I'm going to select this face over here, cancel. Select mode. There it is. Select that, and a right mouse click will let me select its corresponding part over on the other side. And I'm going to use the extrude tool here to create some arms that are coming out of here like this. Now to make elbows, first of all, I think I'm going to keep these arms getting smaller and smaller, so I'm going to resize these shapes to make them smaller like this. Good. And now make the elbows. I'm going to extrude another little sort of a square like this. And now I'm going to choose different faces. I'll keep going from here and here. Now this is cool. I'll just sort of rotate this like this. And I will extrude it again with the extrude tool. There's sort of the forearms. Now, makes sense that this thing keeps on collapsing in size, so I'll shrink them again. Now we'll go for the wrists. So we'll extrude a little bit further out like this. And now this is where things get a little bit more interesting. If you want to start angling things, I recommend that you sort of look at it from, say, from above. And I've still got those faces. I think I still have those faces selected. Yeah, I do. Okay. So I'm going to try rotating using the right mouse button. And if I do, I can angle these things. But you'll notice they both go sort of angled the same way. So I guess what I have to do, undo, is just take these things on one at a time. So select, just choose this face, look at it from the top, and I'm going to use the rotate tool with the right mouse button. I can angle this thing in. So he's going to have a hand that's going to sort of come inward a little bit. And looking at this guy, yeah, can do the same thing there. Select that face, go back to top view, rotate right mouse button, and this will angle this way. Now there's lots of other ways you could do this. You could mirror and do some fancy things like this. I'm just going to do sort of a fast job to this. And whoops, select both those faces. And you get the idea of this whole thing. I'll just keep on extruding the parts that I need. Now, when you want to get here, you want to make hands that sort of have gangly fingers and stuff like this. This is pretty easy. I'm going to, with those cubes, be able to pull some more fingers out of here. So let's just see what happens. But first, I'm going to, again, kind of compress it down in size. And then extrude. And I guess maybe, you know what, maybe I'll just leave it at this. I'm not going to make this too complex just so people can follow it and see where it goes. One more tool that's kind of interesting here, if you want to peek the faces here, and give them little pinchers like this. But if you want to give them more fingers, well, we'll choose a couple more faces like this and extrude them out. Maybe just a little bit. This is where this angling would also come in handy, looking at it from the top. Let's shrink it down a bit. Anyway, I hope you're getting the idea where this is going to happen. You know what, I'm just going to make another simple extrusion like this. Just so he's sort of got some pinchers like this, and then I'll kind of stick it out like that. So there you go. Got a kind of a little alien. There's so much more you can do with him just to keep on building this thing out. Now here's where it gets kind of interesting. If you want to give him something that looks a little bit less mechanical and a little more organic. Let's go back to Object Select. Grab the whole guy like this, and we've been doing this with a fairly simple primitive right now, but if you go to Build and Convert to Subdivided, you can make him look considerably smoother. And there he is as a subdivided object like that. And let's see, I was hoping to get him to look, oh, I guess we're in flat shaded, that's why. Go to Smooth Shaded, and there's your alien. Like, you got the start of this thing, and he's really super symmetrical too. But you can see I can make legs and all that sort of stuff out of this guy. So there's your quick intro to making an alien using Anim8or, and so much more you can do, but it's a good start. You get the idea. Go try for yourself. Good luck.